Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing two completely opposite battles, both playing in mediums, one where I am completely outnumbered on the medium flank, and one where I am the only medium. I'm going to be showcasing what to do in these different situations, and how to take advantage of your opponents to ensure victory at least 70 to 80% of the time. So let's start off with the M48 Patton battle. This was an incredibly painful game that I actually ended up playing on live stream yesterday, and it's a great example on how to take apart an enemy team. Looking at the enemy lineup, we can see they got a lot of dangerous and mobile vehicles. First of all, they got a 5A and 777, pretty mobile heavies. They have an AMX-30B and an STB-1. Now, I do have a Balchation, but even though I ask for help, as we're going to notice, not a single player on the team helps me. In fact, the E100 says, shut the fork up. So, what a great team I've got starting off here. We get a nice crossing shell into the enemy STB. But yeah, you can notice my bat chat has gone into base B, and this is not great. Number one thing you want to do whenever you see a lineup like this is never make an over-aggression. We can clearly see in this battle that the enemy team is going to be taking a very aggressive approach here. And I know for a fact that there's not much I'm able to do, so I'm not going to go up to where that STB is, because if I do, I'm probably going to die. At this point, you can see I'm already planning to back out of this spot. I hatch the 5A, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't happening, Chief. So I'm getting out. Now, the enemy team has two very good players. The 5A and 30B are both top 4 players. In other words, they've achieved top 4 in competition, and it means that they're pretty good at the game. So, me just holding them off here is a huge play if I can do it properly. So we can see the 5A and STB are trying to flank through spawn. So what my thought process is I have a 183 behind me, and not only do I have a 183 behind me, but currently I'm not spotted. So I can just poke this STB, get a free shot out. This 5A and STB cannot play into spawn here, and you're going to see why in just a moment. The 5A makes a move and gets absolutely clapped by the 183, and the 183 just backs up. So single-handedly, I've baited the enemy into the open. I get another free shell into the 5A as well. I've done 1600 damage, only bled about 300 myself, and I've completely screwed the enemy flank. That is crazy good, and it shows just how you can take advantage of even some of the most skilled players on the battlefield. Technically, you don't need that much skill just to hold them off and make sure they can't do anything. Look at that. STB pokes me, loses another 1,000 health to the 183. So I've gotten that 183 some huge bleeds. And because I've been able to distract the enemy vehicles, we can also see that our team has absolutely demolished over on town because they were missing a 5A, and they had an extra medium that was over on the other flank, not doing all too much. So now this is where we take advantage of our tank's high DPM. This is why running calibrated shells I always love, because yes, having rammer would be nice here as well, but I have adrenaline and I'm able to use that increase in DPM to get good bleeds into my opponents. Already this chieftain is not enjoying his life too much. We got a 475 high explosive into his rear, and that's 4,000 damage dealt. Okay, well, they still have some pretty nasty tanks left. They got a 30B, a 5A. We're going to aim it on the 30B, and really, that's quite an unfortunate shot. That was an easy shell to hit too. Just did not want to pen. But there you go. Nice shot into the lower plate of the 30B, breaking us over the 4,000 damage barrier. Maybe we can try and hatch him. Nope. Perfect shot, just I don't even know where it went. Went right through his hatch, it looked like. Okay, well, at this point, we're going to win on base capture, whether or not I do any more damage, which is nice. But you can see, just how in this game alone, I noticed, okay, I have a big disadvantage on the medium flank, and the enemy team is going to try and rush me. So I need to put myself in a position where that's not possible. I'm going to shoot the STB, make him a one-shot for the 183, and there you go. 4,500 damage dealt. And I would say we almost single-handedly gave our team that win by doing what we did. Now, it would have been great if our 183 had decided just to cover me. It would have been so nice if he had just covered, because he would have been able to shoot the 5A, probably the 30B when he poked. I mean, when you have a medium literally spotting up the entire flank for you and you have no tank destroyers supporting, it's always quite a sad result. And very unsurprising, our bat chat did 0 damage. The craziest part is this is a 64%er who doesn't understand how to drive his tank in 5K ratings. So clearly a massive skill issue from that player. Please learn where the medium flank is. But as we can see, This is a great example of how you can take advantage of enemy opponents. Even though their 30B did 5,000 damage, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you farm in a medium if the enemy team is still going to defeat your heavies. You want to cause a distraction. You want to use your mobility to get behind people, and you want to obviously be baiting, and that's not what happened. So we were able to get that win out. Pretty solid stuff. Now we are going to take a look at a battle in the E50M. And this is the complete opposite. This is where the enemy team has no mediums, and I am the only mobile tank. Now a lot of times what you'll see happen here is the medium player will just lemming train. And what that means is they'll go stick with the rest of the team, and they'll all push one flank. And sure, in theory, sticking with your team is a good and viable solution. However, when you are the only medium in a matchup, you need to take advantage of it. It's not like a you should, it's a you need to take advantage of the fact that you are the only medium or light tank, because there are not many games you get this capability. Looking at the enemy lineup, we can see ML2, K91, E4, Super Conk Grill, E100. They don't have any vehicles that are super mobile. The fastest tank they have is a grill and a Hori. So, because of that, I know if I go fully wide, there's no way the enemy team's going to go over here. There's just no reason they would. They might drive a TD to the, the rock in front of me, and they might have a TD in this back spot, but there's no way ever that they're going to be driving their team all the way to D corner. And because of that, rather than sticking with my team and trying to fight those heavies frontally, I'm going to use the mobility of the E50M, flank behind my opponents, and make sure that they have almost no way of dealing with me. The moment I, as a single medium, am able to get behind the enemy team, I can cause a huge amount of pressure. Because just as one tank, for example, I can get this Hori, who is now in a very problematic situation. Because if the Hori backs up, I'm just going to farm him. If he pulls forwards, I'm still going to farm him, and the rest of my team's going to shoot him. And if anybody turns back to shoot me, then my team's going to push up and clear them. So we can see I'm already getting good bleeds out. Hori ran away. We got 1,300 damage ripped off of his tank. E50M high explosive goes burr. We got the Super Conk, and again, this is a great example. That Super Conker has backed up. And because of that, I'm now able to push onto the side of his vehicle and put some pressure on him. He's screwed now, because he's like, uh-oh, I got tanks on my front. I got tanks on my side. What is he going to do? Again, flanking in mediums is such an important thing to do. And this is the difference on what separates skilled gameplay from just brainless gameplay. You need to think, you need to see what the enemy matchups are like, and what you're able to do to counter what the enemy team is doing. So, right now we are already getting a pretty good farm out here. And at this point, it's already a win. I mean, we've gotten behind, we've gotten good shots out, and I'm not going to say we were the reason we won this game, but I'll tell you for a fact that if our heavy flank started to fall apart, me just getting behind the enemy here would have been a huge change in the course of this battle. So we're going to aim in a high explosive to the rear of that ML2, 500 damage. The alpha of this tank's HE is incredible. It's 450 damage per shot, and it literally allows you to just rip into your opponents. So we're at 3,500 damage now. We're going to shoot at the rear of the K91. Unfortunately, that shell does not penetrate, but that's no problem. We're just going to move up and get to the side of his tank. Then we get a nice little love tap as well for an additional about 70, 80-ish damage. And let's see if we can get one more shell out. Nice, 367. We get a bounce, and there you go. 4,300 and a pretty solid win. I think both of these games are a great showcase of how many different situations can be formed from just one game. I mean, that was a fantastic battle there, and while we didn't, get any crazy awards or high damage, it was still a good result, and it shows just how flanking, when you can take advantage of not having enemy mediums, versus the Patton game where we were on the downside. You always got to keep these things in mind. Now, sometimes you're going to have an absolute stinker of a team, and there's nothing you can do about it. Everybody has that happen. But at the end of the day, if you can take advantage of the situations given to you, your chances of winning and dealing damage are going to be much higher than people around you. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. As always, if you like this and you want to see more, make sure to click that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.